lives. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our Dionysium debate moderatrix, Ms. Rowan Halliday.
Hello, my beloved Dionysians. I have missed you, and I'd like to take a moment to thank you all for braving the bitter Austin winter to come out with us tonight. I know that some of you had to come by snowshoe and dog sled, and I really, really appreciate the effort. Tonight, we undertake one of the more important questions, perhaps the most important question facing, well, us. We ask ourselves if we are alone in the universe, or if perhaps we are alone in being or considering ourselves smart in the universe. Sometimes I think we are alone in considering ourselves smart in this theater. But I don't judge those who didn't buy their tickets in time. It's all right that they're not here. So tonight, we address an important resolution, which is that there is intelligent extraterrestrial life. Now, I could define intelligent or life, but I do hope we know those, and perhaps the debaters will set some terms for us. I do wish to address extraterrestrial in context of Mr. Dio's many, many Earth's Alamo draft houses and Dionysiums. Myself, I feel unique. I feel I should say that. One might remind you that an extraterrestrial life, no matter how many Earths there are, would not exist on any of those infinite Earths. Just wanted to set that rule so that we didn't have any spoilers for the debate, Mr. Dio. The man is ungovernable. In any case, allow me to introduce our debaters who will be handling this question tonight. Our affirmative debater is a software developer and author with a passion for books, music, art, and thankfully space, or else he wouldn't be here tonight. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Hal Fulton. Have a seat. Our opposing debater is a member of the Austin Astronomical Society and a 6-year U.S. Navy veteran whose interests include classical guitar, astronomy, astrophysics, science fiction, writing, and filmmaking. From 2008 to 2010, he was a corporate officer of Starfleet, the International Fan Association, Incorporated. Please welcome to the stage Mr. John Halliday. So before we begin, a few rules about our debate. The format will be as follows. Each debater... Leonard is laughing. Have you already started, Leonard? Both of them ungovernable. This is going to be one of those debates. I can tell it already. We have 3 minutes apiece for our opening statements, beginning with our affirmative debater. We will follow with 3 minutes apiece for our rebuttals, beginning again with our affirmative debater. Then we will give the debaters an opportunity to ask one another a question with 1 minute to respond. And then we will open it up, Wild West style, to you, the audience, for questions with 1 minute responses. Finally, we will close with 3 minute closing statements, beginning with our opposing debater. Few rules. There are no ad hominem attacks, no hitting below the belt, no cheap shots. You will obey your time limits, which will be indicated to you by a gentle ping of the wine glass. If you ignore the ping, I will begin to approach the stage. Do not, at peril of your lives, allow me to reach it. And finally, address all of your comments to me, your moderatrix. Mr. Fulton, you may begin.
I wanted to start with a quote from Arthur C. Clarke. I assume you all know who he was. If you don't, you should Google him. He said, "Sometimes I think we're alone in the universe, sometimes I don't. Either way, it's a very amazing thing." That's a paraphrase, so I probably got the quote wrong, but you get the idea. And I agree with him. I think it's a very amazing thing either way. And that is where I've always come down on the issue. But in the process of preparing for this debate, I think I convinced myself. So maybe I can convince some of you too. I want you to reflect, first of all, that, well, let me back up a little bit. Let me say a sentence about UFOs and that kind of thing. I'm not saying that we have been visited. That's not a part of my argument. So I hope you will take that into consideration. That's not a part of what the resolution was about. I want you to consider that this is a numbers game. That imagine you have a slot machine like in Vegas. I've never gambled in Vegas, but whatever. Suppose you have a slot machine that has 1 chance in a million of hitting a jackpot. Well, if you play 3 or 4 times, or 20 times, or 100 times, you probably won't win. If you play 1,000,000 times, you probably will win. If you play 1,000,000,000 times, you will probably win 1,000 times. That's the kind of logic we're thinking about here. And I want you to realize how vast the universe is. I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence, but most people don't know what a galaxy is. They think a galaxy is like a solar system. No, a galaxy is composed of like 100 billion stars, at least, potentially 100 billion solar systems. So in the universe, we have something on the order of 2 times 10 to the 22nd power, 2 with 22 zeros after it, stars. And we think most of those stars have planets. And we think some of them are Earth-like. And, that's our starting point. What are the probabilities that an Earth-like planet will have life and then will develop intelligent life? And that is, that's the numbers game we're playing.
Thank you, Madam Moderatrix. And esteemed opponent, and the intelligent life in our audience. Diftorhes musma. This is the modern Gallic Vulcan language, and it means live long and prosper. Captain Kirk's serial number is SC937-0176 CEC. In the film Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, originally Revenge of the Jedi, there was a small character. It was like a little naked badger, and it sat on Jabba the Hutt, and it went, made funny sounds. The name of that character was Salacious Crumb. We love science fiction. We love the idea of alien races being out there, and we want to meet them and maybe shoot them or talk to them. And we want that chance. It's like a part of us now. It's part of our culture. But it's not a new thing. Back in ancient Greece, the Greeks thought life was so common. Life on Earth was like a grain of wheat in a field of wheat. So it's not a new concept. It's something we're comfortable with. It's something we've just kind of gotten used to. It's something we take for granted. Our science fiction industry it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It punctuates that point. Yeah, we assume that I just said that there are aliens out there. We're going to meet them. And we find it easy to think that in part because of, like has been mentioned, the universe is big. Oh, it's very big. So mind-bogglingly big, as Mr. Adams said. It's just hard to imagine. 93 billion light years across, 13.67 billion years old. Our galaxy has 100 billion stars, as Hal said. And due to the Kepler Space Telescope, we now understand that planets are more common than we ever thought. 1 trillion planets in our galaxy alone. Now, in 1950, Enrico Fermi and some other fellow scientists were talking about how common life must be. But then, after a while, Fermi said, but where are they? We haven't detected any of them, and that's the problem. I know it's sad to think that we're alone, but the fact is we haven't detected them yet, and I see this as a lesson to be learned. Life in our galaxy, well, on our planet, is precious, and it is unique. Thank you.
Mr. Halliday is ever a pusher of boundaries. Well, we have our arguments laid out. Clearly, there must be life because there is so much opportunity for it. Clearly, there must not be extraterrestrial life because we have not heard from it. Also, I believe we have, and I can say this clearly, firmly established the nerd cred of both of our debaters. I look forward to hearing their rebuttals. Mr. Fulton?
Okay, here we go. I wish I could share my numbers with you in detail, but it's too difficult to talk about big numbers, as LB showed us, without scientific notation. And once you start saying 10 to the whatever, people start going to sleep, including me. But let's just think in terms of number of zeros. If you consider the number of stars that we estimate in the universe and the likelihood of Earth-like planets on those, or life-bearing planets, and then the chances of life developing, and then the chances of life becoming intelligent, you can give realistic numbers to those, and you will estimate something like 8 times 10 to the 22nd, or 8 with 22 zeros, different civilizations in the universe. Now, if you're very, very pessimistic, you can give very low values to each of those. And I went as low as I felt I honestly could and recalculated, and I calculated a low number of 20 intelligent species in the universe. If there were fewer than 20, I'd be amazed, and I'm probably very stupid. I'm probably very stupid anyway. For comparison, I want you to think of the sand on a beach. I was gratified that LB said that 1 billion grains of sand would fit in here. I kind of feel like it might be more, I'm not sure. But According to Google, which runs my life and knows everything, a typical beach could have 10 to the 14th power grains of sand, 1 followed by 14 zeros. That means that if you pick up one little grain of sand in your hand and think about the number of Earth-like planets bearing intelligent life in the universe, there could be 20 to 20,000 Earth-like intelligent life-bearing planets in the universe for each grain of sand on Earth. That's how big a number we're talking about. So, given a slot machine that only pays off one time in a trillion, if you play it a trillion times, then you will win a trillion times. So that's all the argument I have.